So, hi everyone, welcome to the second part of our webinar series. We're joined by Cody Crowley, who is a 19-0 professional boxer from Canada. We'll be asking Cody questions about preparing for fights, how he deals with both physical and mental aspects of that. So, Cody, if you'd like to introduce yourself for us.
Yes, thanks, brother. Thanks for having me on. I truly appreciate this. To everybody who's watching, I'm Cody the Crippler Crowley. Like you said, undefeated, 19-0. I'm from Canada. I'm making a name for myself here in Las Vegas, Nevada. Hopefully my next fight should be for either a world title or very close to it. So I'm excited to be on here with you and chit chat and share some knowledge and just have a good time.
Perfect. So I think I'll start questions then, James, if that's all right. My first question for you is, who is the toughest person you've sparred against?
That's very, I can go so many different outlets for that. Obviously, Floyd was the smartest, right? Floyd was the best person to, he made you fight yourself. You know, he would set up tricks. He was always 2 or 3 moves ahead. He'd teach you something, you know, in the first or second round and program you to react certain ways. And then, you know, he might forget about that for a couple rounds and then come back to that same program that he put you on when you're unexpecting it and set you up for something. So as far as tactics wise and strategy, I would say Floyd was definitely the greatest artist that I was in the ring with, right? The smartest. As far as toughest, shoot, the list goes on. There's so many great fighters out there. One that I got a lot of respect for is Gervonta Davis. Being, you know, a 135 pounder, a small guy, that dude can crack. There's no, when I watch his fights and he's sleeping people, I'm like, yeah, that took a lot for me to take, you know, so I can understand how all these dudes are dropping like that. He's another great fighter. The power that he possesses is truly like a little mini Mike Tyson. Another great fighter, Jorge Linares. He was a tremendous fighter at the time when I only had a couple fights, and his strength as well. His straight right hand, he was so explosive. You know, he was calm and patient, but he could flip the switch and be so explosive and catch you off guard. And he broke his right straight right hand on the top of my forehead one time. And I could feel this jolt of energy, this electricity just go through my whole spine, and my whole body was like numb. So he's cracking too. Zab Judah was always fun, you know, getting in there with a reactive counter puncher. Yeah. Shoot, I got to go back to Floyd though. Floyd is the best person to get in the ring and learn from, because he shows you all your own mistakes, right? When you're fighting Floyd, you're actually fighting the worst version of yourself. He takes advantage of every mistake you make and then builds off them.
Perfect. James, do you want to ask your first question?
Yeah, so just to go on from the sparring, a lot of the people that will be training, they will have never sparred before. So what would your advice be to a first-time sparrer? How do they start building on their techniques and things like that from sparring, not necessarily from the bag?
Right. Well, from my experience, when I first started going in and sparring, I was so mentally consumed with beating the other fighter, and so mentally consumed with not getting my ass kicked, that I kind of nullified a lot of the skills that I learned in training. And I was just so excited to get in there and fight that a lot of what I learned kind of went out the window. So what I recommend is when people first get into sparring, the first thing is just get comfortable with being inside of the ring, first of all, in that enclosed space, getting to learn your environment, you know, where you are in the ring, and then focusing on the person who's in front of you, just gaining control and not allowing him to do what he wants to you. Don't be focusing so much on just going and fighting. Try and nullify, okay, this is what he's trying to do. This is what he's trying to set up. How can I take the least amount of damage? How can I stop whatever he's trying to do? Because the best offense is the best defense, right? First, you have to be able to be in the fight to win the fight. And a lot of people, when they first get in the ring, the excitement level gets to them so much. And when they're in the heat of that fire, they go unconscious and they just react. And next thing you know, 30 seconds of round one left, and they have a hard time holding their hands up or moving, right? Round two, it just gets worse and worse and worse. Instead of having their main focus be on their energy levels, how they feel in the ring. What is the guy doing to me? How can I nullify that and accumulate some points on my end at the same time without taking any damage? And how can I reserve my gas tank to handle these 3 rounds, right? It's there's so many moving pieces of the puzzle that a lot of people, when they first get in the ring, they just let all the pieces fall. And what happens is maybe they might get knocked out. Maybe they run out of gas and they get stopped in the first round or second round. So I believe my advice would just be getting comfortable, learning from the experience, and know that you are going to get hit, but it is okay. That is how you gain experience. First, you have to almost get comfortable and be okay with being on the receiving end of losing to learn how to win, right? That, I think that would be my best piece of advice. Just get comfortable, get in there with someone who is fairly new themselves, unless if it is with a more experienced person who is not trying to take advantage of that person, allowing them to learn. Because they got to be able to walk it. They got to be able to run in the ring. But they have to first start walking in the ring, right? So it's very baby steps, and we want to learn the alphabet correctly. We want to learn the steps correctly on how to fight. So we need to start with A in the ring, then go to B, and then go to C. Not just learn a couple techniques and go in the ring and think you're Mayweather. You get in there, you learn where you are, where your position is in the ring. Is my back against the ropes? Am I the one engaging the fight? Am I moving forward? Am I showing him something to put him onto a certain rhythm that I can set him up for a counter? There's just so many pieces of the puzzle. That I recommend just starting at A, getting comfortable and being okay with getting hit.
Yeah, perfect.
So what would you say has been the biggest mental challenge for you during a fight camp?
During fight camp?
Yeah.
Biggest challenge for me is not being too hard on myself. I have this crazy ability to get so focused and so obsessed on my training, and I'm so hard on myself. If I have a bad day in training, a lot of times I will bring that home with me. I'll drive home from the gym and I'll be thinking about how stupid I must be from not being able to get this move. Why can't I just do this? My coach is telling me, but yet I still can't do it. And when I do that, I bring a lot of negativity. The rest of my day is just very negative. So that's a huge battle I struggle with, because it can kind of snowball from one day to the next day to the next day. Gets to the point where it's like, fuck, here's a week now and I still can't do what my coach is doing, what he's telling me to do. So it that kind of builds more and more contrast, right? Instead of saying, shoot, you know what? This is where I am today. I gave my best effort today. It wasn't quite the result that I wanted, but that's all I can ask for myself today. I'm going to go home. I'm going to get rest. I'm going to nourish my body very good. I'm going to thank my body for allowing me to put it through what I put it through. And tomorrow we're going to wake up and we're going to try again, and we're going to give our best effort. And tomorrow we just might be able to do something that we weren't able to do today. So the biggest struggle is not letting that negativity build up. I know we as fighters, we tend to use that a lot as fuel, but it's a very fine line of using it as fuel and it becoming detrimental to you, and causing mental blockages that just shouldn't be there. Because we're all, this is a marathon, not a sprint. It took Floyd 25 years of dedicating every single day to his craft to be able to step out of the ring and then come back and just do everything perfect every time, right? So we all have a starting point, and it's just about honoring and accepting where we're at and focusing on moving forward and becoming better every day. And every day is not going to be our best day, and we have to be okay with that.
Yeah. James?
Yeah, so my next question would be, again, aimed at our training camp. How do because it's relatively short time to train and learn how to to be safe in the ring, how do you train to improve without getting injured or exhausting yourself? How do you learn within the confines of staying safe
with that short period of time getting ready for a fight like this?
Exactly, yeah.
Once again, getting as comfortable as you can in the environment that you can, which is going to be in the ring, which is going to be with another person, who is in front of you. So as much time as you can be in that environment, whether it's with your coach doing some pad work or whether it's with somebody who is shadow boxing, just being a body in front of you, and you don't necessarily have to hit each other, but just focusing on, okay, am I close enough that I could land a punch? Am I moving him how I want to move him? How could I go and position him in the corner so I could create an opening? Another great thing, because of the time frame and the wear and tear on the body, and it takes time to recover, you don't want to overtrain. So another great thing would just be studying, going up, looking up different fighters, seeing how they go and position themselves in the ring, see how they go and work their gas pedal too, how they reserve their own energy. They just don't go out there and go, guns blazing and throw punches for 3 minutes without thinking. They're being very methodical about it. So studying fighters, seeing their strategies, maybe how you could implement some of their strategies into your own toolkit, and that's another thing that I would recommend is every person has their own set of tools, abilities. Hey guys, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, got you.
Yeah, got you back.
Oh, there we go. I was saying a lot of every single fighter has a different ability, whether it might be raw strengths is what you are gifted with, or it might be that you have a naturally great endurance system, right? So you might want to use that to your advantage, where you're going to emphasize on that and train more endurance so you can just simply outwork somebody, right? Or if it's your fast twitch fibers that you are gifted with and you have crazy speed. Well, let's emphasize on that speed and train a lot of speed exercises so you can just overwhelm your opponent. So whatever each individual feels like their talents are and their strengths are, especially for your first fight, let's try and get comfortable and maximize on those strengths.
Perfect, thank you.
So my next question is sort of related to that. If you were to only be allowed one other training resource alongside your boxing to complement it, what would you choose?
One other training outside of boxing?
Yeah.
Run. Now, that doesn't mean that you are going for running 10 miles every day or even 5 miles every day. You're training for a 3, 6, 9 minute bout, I believe. Or are they 2-minute rounds?
Yeah, 3 2-minute rounds. So 6 minutes.
So 2, 4, 6. So that energy system that you are working is very, very fast paced. It's not long and slow, right? It's short, exciting, quick bursts of energy. So you want to try and manipulate those energy systems. So could even just be going to, the football field or the soccer field and doing 100-meter sprints, say for, a simple drill, like, all right, every 30 seconds for 10 minutes, I'm going to have to sprint the whole entire football field as fast as I can go. So you have someone there with the timer. They say go at the start of 30 seconds and you sprint as fast as you can down that football field. Some people might get there in 10 seconds. Others might get there in 25 seconds. However much time you have left of that 30, that's your rest, So if you got there in 10 seconds, you have 20 seconds to recoup, rest, and then right back into another sprint. Really trying to emphasize on those short, quick bursts and being able to step your foot on the gas, recover, foot on the gas, recover. So running, sprinting, but honestly, I don't think anything over really 3 miles. 3 miles would be a great pace to maximize your cardio output. I know myself, when I train for a 12-round fight, I use a 3-mile timed run as my gauge to know how good of shape I am in for a 12-round fight. As long as I get 3 miles under 18 minutes, that's every mile. Those are 6-minute miles or less consistently, right? So I know myself, okay, that's enough gas in the tank that I can box 12 rounds by working my gas pedal like this. If I can hold my gas pedal continuously like that for 18 minutes straight. Yeah. So running, but not just straight running, incorporating those sprints, incorporating short bursts with plyometrics, really just using the body, guys, using the body. That's it. Footwork drills, but once again, running is the best. If you have no gas in your car, it doesn't matter if you're driving a Ferrari, or you could be driving a Ferrari and I can be driving a 2001 Honda Accord. If I got more gas in my tank, yeah, yours is going to look great on the starting line, but it's not going to finish the finish line. Yeah. So that shitty 02 or 2001 Honda is going to look pretty nice at the finish line all by itself.
Yeah. James, have you got?
Yeah. So on the day of your fight, let's say, how do you prepare yourself from waking up to fight day mentally, not physically? How do you get yourself there mentally from waking up to fight? A lot of my career, I would waste a lot of mental energy. Our bodies, even if we aren't physically doing anything, your body is an energetic system. So it is using or creating energy all the time. So I found that I would, even the week of a fight, once fight week starts, all of a sudden I'm in my brain more. I'm thinking about this.
laying at bed at night when my heart rate should be low and resting, my heart rate is up and I'm thinking, I'm quote unquote semi worrying about the future and what's going to happen, right? Instead, now in my career that I kind of got all those butterflies out of the way and that nervousness, when a fight comes, I really don't even think about it until I go to the arena that day. Because if I wake up in the morning and I'm rehearsing what's going on, I'm thinking about what's going to happen, then my body is actually spending energy. And when I step in that ring 8 hours from now, I'm going to have less energy than I did in the morning, just because my body internally has been fighting. It's been going through the motions. It's been thinking, it's been spending energy. Just like if you went and sat in a university class all day, that would be very taxing on the brain compared to you just sitting at home and, listening to your favorite music and relaxing, or, having a nice, enjoyable bath, keeping your brain turned off and your body in that relaxed state so you can have as much energy for when you actually do go fight. Once you get to the arena, still, you shouldn't really be consumed on the fight that much because it's still not fight time. You might get to the arena 3 hours before you fight, and that whole time your heart rate is ticking because you're nervous. You know that you're about to step in the ring soon. Well, every time that your heartbeat's going fast, you're spending energy. So let's not even really focus on the fight until maybe we start getting our hands wrapped. Maybe our coach starts asking us, okay, you've been training for this for a while. How are you feeling? Are you ready? Yeah. You know what? I've put in a lot of work. I can do this. I've been sparring. I put in the road work. There's no second guessing the shape that I'm in. I put in the work and I'm confident. And then start going over, okay, the game plan. What are we going to do? Start warming up and start practicing the principles that you're going to be applying in that ring, 10 minutes from now. You don't really need to turn on the engine when the car isn't at the race yet.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. That's just on my mind, what I try to do.
Yeah. My next question sort of links to that. So say you're warming up for your fight, how much are you thinking about the opponent that you're going into the ring against, or are you solely focused on yourself?
Solely focused on myself, because I have no control. We like to think that we have control over other people. Oh, if I fought this guy, this is what I would do. How many times do you see that people watching fighters on TV? What? Are you kidding me? If I was in there, I would have knocked this guy out. Well, you don't know what you're going to be presented with inside the ring. Chances are, if me and you go and we box, every single time me and you are in the ring, it is going to be a new and different experience for you. You are going to be more comfortable. I might be more comfortable. I might try new things. All of a sudden, the first couple times we sparred, you were boxing. I was fighting left-handed. Now, all of a sudden, me and you go here to fight, and you're thinking, you're preparing, you're warming up for me and you to fight. And you're like, I'm going to do this combination on him. He's right-handed. I'm going to step in here and do this. Well, I might show up and be a total different stance. I was training with a coach that changed my whole entire style up, made me go from a pressure fighter to now a counter puncher. So it doesn't really do that much good to focus on what that guy is going to do, because you don't know what he will do until you're in the ring with him. And because what you do will dictate what he does, right? That's the beauty of it, is you can never, two people in the ring in the present moment together, it's hard to recreate that experience. You kind of almost, just like Bruce Lee says, you have to let it all go and just have an empty canvas in front of you and take what's given and not try and make something that isn't there for you to make.
Yeah.
So I always just try and focus on myself Am I calm? Am I relaxed? I know what to do in any position that I get in. I just really focus on creating the intention of being the best version of myself in there, no matter what. And don't focus on the outcome. Focus on just allowing whatever to come through me. And what's meant to happen was meant to happen. It's a learning experience. Whether you lose, whether you win, you gain so much from it.
Yeah. James, I've got one final question, but have you got?
Yeah, I was going to ask you what and let's say your ring walk. What are you saying to yourself? Maybe not even your ring walk. What's the last thing you say to yourself before that final bell goes? That first bell, sorry, not final one.
For me, it's more so excitement that comes over me, and happiness, because the weeks and months and years of preparation and sacrifices, and pain and suffering that I had to go through to get to this moment in my life where I'm here in the ring, it almost kind of brings me in tears, because it's like, wow, now I get to have fun. All that other stuff doesn't matter. Here, I'm at the final moment where I just get to go and let all my suffering, all my pain, all my hard work go and showcase itself. Now it's time to have fun. The serious, the grumpy times, the angry times, that was all in training camp when I was dealing with myself. Now I get to go and just take in all the hard work that I did and let it showcase itself. So for me, before that bell rings, it's more of I've made it.
Yeah.
I finally made it. Let's go. Let the games begin. Because it doesn't matter the outcome. It's getting to the ring. You have to be able to get to the ring first.
Perfect. Amazing. Thank you so much.
That pretty much answered my final question as well, which is, but just in case you want to sort of sum it up, how would you say boxing has affected your general mental well-being?
Huge. When I really start connecting the two, how you see a fighter in the ring, you see him react outside of the ring very similar. That kind of showed me, like, when I was in the ring, I would think I would just go super fast here and there, and I would just shoot my load very quick and not think and stuff. And then I started to realize, whoa, shoot, wow, even outside of the ring, this is what I do. I jump from this to that. I go head first into this, and then all of a sudden I run out of gas and I fall, and that project I was working on doesn't get accomplished. So I started then taking what I was learning in boxing and applying that to my outside life. And look at someone like Floyd Mayweather, how strategically well he plans and methodically plans his moves in the ring. He's doing the exact same thing with his businesses outside. He is playing chess while moving the pieces of his business and his life. And, when he gets hit with a storm, whether it be from the media or legal issues or anything, he just doesn't go and start freaking out like what you see some fighters do when they get overwhelmed. No, he stays calm. He stays collected. Okay, it's going to be okay. This is what just got thrown at me. How can I best get my way through this situation very calmly and peacefully without it derailing me from where I'm supposed to go? So it works very in sync. How you perform in the ring is how you perform in life. So you kind of have to really think about that a lot, and think about how you go about your daily life. and try and bring that into the ring as well. Be simple thing, you know, a lot of fighters, we get so we want to make something happen, right? We want to be that world champion already. We want this, want that, want that. Well, maybe we just got to be patient, you know? So same thing in life. We're trying for this, we're trying for that, trying for that. Well, maybe just a little bit of patience and accepting where you're at on that journey, just like accepting that maybe I can't throw a 30-piece combination on the pads, but I'm going to accept that I can throw this 10-piece and gradually build from it.
Perfect. James, have you got any final questions, or?
I'm all done. I'm all out.
Smashing stuff. Thank you very much, Cody. That was amazing. I'm sure a lot of people will get a lot of helpful advice from this.
No problem, brother. Thanks for having me. I love talking boxing. I believe that boxing and life and the individual go hand in hand. It's such a great tool for people to understand more about themselves and what's going on in their self internally. You know, it's a great tool to build that self-confidence that you can take out and use in all areas of your life.
Perfect. So,
Thank you.
yeah, thank you very much. I'm going to